Ever wondered what happens when science goes terribly wrong? From dangerous mistakes to shocking experiments, these stories show that even the smartest minds can get it very wrong. Here are the top 20 science experiments that didn't go as planned. Let's jump right in. 20. The Monster Study. In 1939, researchers conducted an experiment on orphan children to study stuttering. They gave some kids harsh negative speech therapy, trying to induce stuttering. Unfortunately, this caused lasting psychological trauma for many of the children involved. The study is now considered highly unethical and a dark chapter in scientific history. 19. The Elephant on LSD. In 1962, scientists injected an elephant named Tuskegee with an enormous dose of LSD, about 3,000 times the typical human dose. The goal was to observe aggressive behavior. Instead, the elephant collapsed and died within minutes. This tragic experiment highlighted the dangers of extreme dosing in animal testing. 18. The Philadelphia Experiment. The Philadelphia Experiment is a famous urban legend about a secret Navy test. The story claims the Navy tried to make a ship invisible using advanced technology. According to rumors, crew members suffered severe side effects, including being fused to the ship or going insane. While widely debunked, the story remains popular in conspiracy circles. 17. The Challenger Disaster. In 1986, NASA launched the Space Shuttle Challenger despite warnings about dangerously cold weather. Just 73 seconds after liftoff, the shuttle exploded, killing all 7 astronauts on board. The disaster was a tragic result of ignored safety concerns and flawed engineering. It remains one of the most devastating accidents in space exploration history. 16. The Rainbow Experiment gone wrong. The Rainbow Experiment is a popular chemistry demonstration meant to create colorful flames. In 2015, during a school demo in the USA, the experiment went terribly wrong. A fireball erupted when flammable liquids ignited unexpectedly, severely burning several students. This incident serves as a harsh reminder about the risks of classroom science demos without proper safety measures. 15. Jiankui's CRISPR babies. In 2018, Chinese scientist Jiankui shocked the world by editing the genes of twin babies using CRISPR technology. His goal was to make the babies resistant to HIV. However, the experiment was widely condemned for being unethical and premature. Jiankui faced legal consequences, and the case sparked a global debate on the ethics of gene editing. 14. Michelson-Morley Experiment. In the late 1800s, scientists believed that light traveled through a mysterious substance called ether. Albert Michelson and Edward Morley set out to prove its existence by measuring the speed of light in different directions. Despite their careful setup, they found absolutely nothing, no difference at all. This failed experiment turned physics upside down and paved the way for Einstein's theory of special relativity, showing that sometimes not finding what you expect can change the world forever. 13. Duncan MacDougall's soul experiments. Dr. Duncan MacDougall wanted to prove the existence of the human soul by weighing people at the exact moment of death. He claimed to find a small loss of weight, which he said was the soul leaving the body, but his methods were wildly imprecise, his sample size tiny, and his conclusions quickly dismissed by the scientific community. The experiment is now remembered more for its bizarre premise than any real discovery. 12. Henry Murray's psychological experiments. At Harvard, psychologist Henry Murray subjected students including future Unabomber Ted Kaczynski to brutal psychological stress tests. Participants were interrogated under bright lights, wired to electrodes, and aggressively criticized for their beliefs. The students were never fully informed about the study's true nature. Many believe these experiments caused lasting psychological harm and may have influenced Kaczynski's later actions. 11. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill. On April 20, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig in the Gulf of America suffered a catastrophic blowout and explosion during a safety test gone wrong. The blast killed 11 workers, sank the rig, and unleashed the largest marine oil spill in U.S. history. Over 87 days, an estimated 134 million gallons of oil gushed into the Gulf, devastating marine life, coastal ecosystems, and local economies. The spill coated more than 1,300 miles of shoreline, killed countless birds, sea turtles, and marine mammals, and caused billions in economic and environmental damage. Investigations found that a series of poor management decisions, ignored safety warnings, and a rush-to-completion culture contributed to the disaster. The Deepwater Horizon spill remains a stark warning about the consequences of cutting corners in industrial safety and the lasting damage human error can inflict on the environment. 10. Unit 731. During World War II, Japan's Unit 731 conducted horrific experiments on prisoners, including live dissections, biological weapons testing, and forced infections. Thousands died in these secretive and brutal trials. The full extent of Unit 731's crimes only came to light decades later, standing as a grim reminder of how science can be twisted for inhuman purposes. 9. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Also in 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine suffered a catastrophic meltdown during a safety test gone wrong. The explosion released massive amounts of radioactive material, causing immediate deaths and long-term health effects for thousands. It remains the worst nuclear accident in history, and a stark warning about the risks of nuclear energy. 8. The Tuskegee Syphilis study. For 40 years, the U.S. Public Health Service studied the effects of untreated syphilis in hundreds of black men in Alabama, without telling them they had the disease or offering treatment. Even after penicillin was discovered, dozens died, and many more suffered lifelong complications. The study is now infamous as one of the most unethical medical experiments ever conducted, leading to major reforms in research ethics. 7. The Kola Superdeep Borehole. In a quest to drill as deep as possible into the Earth's crust, Soviet scientists began the Kola Superdeep Borehole project. They reached more than 12 kilometers down, but extreme heat and pressure made further progress impossible. The project was eventually abandoned, leaving behind a massive unused hole and a legacy of scientific ambition pushing the limits of technology. 6. Cold fusion announcement. In 1989, two chemists claimed they had achieved cold fusion, a potentially limitless source of clean energy at room temperature. The announcement created a media frenzy, but other scientists couldn't replicate their results. The discovery was ultimately debunked and became a cautionary tale about the dangers of hype and the importance of reproducibility in science. 5. Room temperature superconductivity fraud. Recently, a series of papers claimed the discovery of room temperature superconductors, breakthrough that could revolutionize technology. However, investigations revealed data fabrication and scientific misconduct by lead researcher Ranga P. Dias. The papers were retracted, and the scandal rocked the physics community, showing that even modern science isn't immune to fraud and failure. Number 4. Operation Sea Spray. The U.S. Navy secretly sprayed a cloud of bacteria over San Francisco to test biological warfare effects on a city. Thousands of people were unknowingly exposed to Serratia marcescens bacteria, which caused infections and at least one death. The experiment raised serious ethical questions about testing on civilian populations without consent. 3. Texas Tech University lab explosion. In 2010, a chemistry lab explosion injured multiple students when safety limits were ignored during an experiment involving explosive chemicals. The blast caused severe injuries and highlighted the importance of strict lab safety training and protocols in educational settings. 2. Marburg virus outbreak. Scientists importing African green monkeys for research accidentally triggered an outbreak of the deadly Marburg virus in a German lab. Several lab workers became infected and some died. The incident led to increased biosecurity measures and awareness of zoonotic disease risks in laboratories. Number 1. The Facebook Emotional Contagion Study. In 2012, Facebook secretly conducted a massive psychological experiment on nearly 700,000 users without their informed consent. Over the course of 1 week, researchers manipulated users' news feeds by showing them either more positive or more negative posts to see if emotions could be contagious online. The study found that when people saw fewer positive posts, they tended to write more negative updates themselves, and vice versa. While the research provided evidence that moods can spread through social networks, it sparked intense public outrage and ethical debate. Critics argued that Facebook had violated users' privacy and autonomy by experimenting on their emotions without clear notice or consent. The incident highlighted the ethical risks of large-scale data experiments on social media platforms and led to calls for stricter oversight of user research. Science can lead to amazing discoveries, but as these stories show, it can also go horribly wrong. Which experiment surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want more fascinating and shocking science stories, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to check out the related videos on my channel. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.